nonprofit in eastern Kentucky is changing up how we view the modern work week. Appalshop in Letcher County is moving to 32-hour work weeks.
And they're doing it without cutting pay. WKYT's Jeremy Toms takes a closer look at the idea and the reasoning behind the decision.
Since 1940, when the Fair Labor Standards Act went into effect, 40-hour work weeks have been the standard for the American worker. But that norm is evolving.
For more than 50 years, we've been really exploring and trying to illustrate what's possible in Appalachia.
And Roger May says creating a new work week norm is just the latest iteration of Appalshop's mission.
It's just a really great way to encourage folks to strive for more of a work-life balance.
May says Appalshop has an employee rights committee that proposed the change, ultimately prompting a 6-month pilot program, which turned in very positive results.
63% of our staff saw an improvement in the quality of their work. 74% expressed a higher motivation, and 80% experienced a better work-life balance.
So now the store has formally adopted a 32-hour work week policy, with Fridays serving as a flex day.
It really just depends on, what's going on at the shop during that work week.
May says some workers wondered if they could pull it off, and he needed time to adjust too.
Even though we did the pilot program for 6 months, it's taken a little bit to kind of shift into, the notion of being off on a Friday.
But he feels the flexibility will encourage creativity and show that they can shape the world they want to live in, even in the coal fields.
Increased productivity, higher motivation. You can't really put a dollar amount on that.
Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Well, it certainly makes you think. May says 82% of their staff worked less than 40 hours per week since the pilot started. Around half of their workers are at 32 hours. He hopes their efforts to reshape the work week can become a model for other organizations interested in giving it their own try.